Hi, fellow traders. I hope everybody had a great start to their month. Mine was almost incredible. I had a home run trade right there in front of me, right on deck, but unfortunately, the things just didn't go my way, and I had to take what the market can give me. But that's fine. I don't mind it at all. No, this is part of what I signed up for, so I take what the market gives me. We'll talk about that trade here in a minute. But for you guys that aren't members, I am hosting another live real-time day trading webinar tomorrow at 8:30 right here on my YouTube channel. You're going to learn how I find the stocks that I put on my watch list, how I vet them, what I'm looking at before the market even opens, and you'll learn the strategies that I trade the morning with. And I usually shut it down around 11. That's when I go to lunch, and then I come back when things are coming out of lunch to see if anything's going to be happening in the afternoon. But lately, after 10:30, somebody cut the light switch off, and the only people running around are us roaches in the dark. And it just seems like that's the way it's been. Every now and then, we'll get some breaking news, or we'll get a nice mover that we can actually trade. But for the most part, it's just been dead after the morning session. But join me tomorrow. You'll get to check out exactly what I do every day in the chat room. And for me, our chat room is an extension of the classroom. True learning doesn't take place watching videos. True learning does not take place just watching or listening to presentations. True learning takes place when you put the rubber to the road. It's when you start applying and practicing the principles and the theories that you're learning in these videos and in these presentations. That's where real learning takes place. That's what I believe a chat room is for. And that's why I call mine the Average Joe Trading Education Community. And that's what we are. We're a community of learners, all trying to get to that promised land, that trading promised land. So come check us out, see what we're about. You just spend the morning with me. It doesn't cost you anything but a little bit of time. All right, so let's talk about our trade from the day. TWLO. This could have been a home run trade in two ways. We're going to cover one way after I talk about my actual trades. But here's my 5-minute opening range breakdown. What I typically trade first out of the gate. Here's the first 5-minute candle, a pretty long candle, but this thing had some selling pressure. It was very volatile. Now, it did have a pretty nasty spread, and I did go in a little bit too heavy. I was a little bit too excited to start with, but I dealt with it. I'm able to deal with that. So I got in. Now, you can see this is not a late entry. It's just that the stock was moving that fast. I got in 8 seconds after not the 5-minute candle printed. And there's like maybe a 1-second delay or 2-second delay. So really, I was pretty quick on the draw. But, we got a little bit of slippage. Look, 136.39 is the actual opening range low. I got in at 135.74. Not bad considering how quick this stock was moving. But it quickly hit my first target, quickly hit my second target, and I made a mistake and completely threw out any chance of this thing coming back and stopping me out at break even. I fully expected this would hit my final target down here, this pivot, 131.65, and it didn't. It immediately turned back around. Look how quick this trade was. After I hit my last target, exactly 1 minute later, this thing was back up almost 2 points and stopping me out. Just that quick, it had come back and took me out. And that caused me to really lose my cool. And you would have thought I lost $300 versus, making $300. You would have thought I lost it. But that's just how upset I got. And that's what happens when you allow yourself to have these unrealistic expectations. It's not realistic for you to expect every trade you get in to work. It's not going to work. That's not the way the market is. The best setup, you can take the best setup, the A+++, that does not mean that trade is going to work and make you money. Once we get in the trade, where it goes is at the mercy of the market. The only thing we can control is our trade plan and making sure we execute it. So I made the mistake of expecting this thing after I hit my first two targets as quickly as I did, fully expecting it to sell off hard. And it didn't. It turned around and ran right up and stopped me out. So really upset. So it took a minute, a little bit for me to get my head screwed on straight, which was perfect because you can see this thing just chopped around basing on the target that I had, which was this 131.65 pivot. Then I thought I did the right thing. I was patient. I waited for this level to break. It did. I waited for the confirmation. I got in, and it turned around and stopped me out. I'm not upset. Fully expect that this can happen. My expectations were back where they needed to be. No expectations. Just put in your trade, execute your trade plan, which should be based on your edge. The trade's either going to work or it's not going to work. Either way, you make sure that you stop out when you're supposed to, or you take profit when you're supposed to, and you move on. Ended up getting stopped out here. This was not a revenge trade. I actually waited for it to reject and come back below this level. If this was a revenge trade, I'd have been jumping in up here. But I waited, got in, and my platform did something funky. It kind of froze. And instead of me, and the only way I can get it unstuck is to log off and log back on. And what happened, I was putting in a stop. And instead of me doing stop, I hit market. And it immediately took me out. Now, it happens sometimes, but when I'm trying to do 3 and 4 things and still trade, I'm going to have slip-ups like that. That's expected. I got upset that I had to, do that in the middle of a trade, but, that's what I accepted. When I did this, when I started this, that's what I accepted. So, no harm, no foul on it. It accidentally took me out for a couple of dollars. So now I'm going to jump back in once, this might have been, you might have could say this was a revenge trade a little bit. But I was waiting for this thing. I really thought we could sell off down to the daily 20, which was I forgot the market on here for you guys. The daily 20 is, let me tell you real quick. The daily 20 was 127. I think it was 127.70 something then. So I thought sure we had enough room to get down there. The way this thing was selling off, as weak as it looked, but it ended up bouncing, stopping me out again on an attempted short. This other attempted short, and then once we we started to, make this move, I was like, over the 9, I'm gonna buy this thing. And sure enough, once I got stopped out here, I jumped in, bought it over the 9. This thing went right up the VWAP like I was supposed to, but my execution was piss poor. I missed it. I missed it here. It sold off really quick, so I ended up taking it, scared that it was going to sell back off, and it ended up going right back up there. So all of this eventually started working on me, and I felt it. And it showed in the execution on this trade here, because I took it off because it came back on me here. My target up here was way soft. I was expecting it may not get to VWAP, so I just set it at 133. Or what was it? I can't remember. But whatever it was like 20 cents off of VWAP. I can't remember the exact price. But that was really, really soft and really conservative target. And then it pulled back and stopped me out here at my profit stop. And then after we sold through this level again, I said I would give it another shot. I did. And once we started basing here, I was like, I'm done with it. I didn't like the price action, so I ended up taking it off for a small profit. And had I left it on, it definitely would have gone up and stopped me out. And eventually it sold. It came to this level and then sold some more. But everything just kind of got out of sorts. Had I got this first trade and nailed it, I would have been extremely happy. I would have probably shorted it up in here and been holding it until the end of the day. This wouldn't have stopped me out, because now I would have had a really better entry. But woulda, coulda, shoulda doesn't pay you. I had to take what the market gave me. So 185.58 to start the month off is not bad, especially when you're trading with a small account. Okay. I didn't wire out yet, but I will be wiring out on tomorrow. And then I'll be starting next week fresh. But I just hadn't made enough money in this account to even worry about wiring out. It's just been hovering between the $65,000 and $8,000 range for the last month or so. But I'll be wiring out on tomorrow, and then we'll be starting fresh then. Well, no, tomorrow's Thursday. I'll be doing it on Friday. Friday morning I'll be wiring out, and then we'll be starting fresh. So that's where we'll be on that. Now, one thing I wanted to show you that I said I was going to show you. Now, here's a 3-minute chart. And I have been paper trading the 3-minute alongside the 5-minute every morning. What I'm on my platform that I'm trading on is 5 minutes. And I've just been kind of writing down, like old-fashioned paper trading, just writing down where the 3-minute is, where I would have gotten in on the 3-minute. So right here on the break, this is the first 3-minute candle. On this break up here around 139, I would have been in at 139. Here's where I got in on the 5-minute. Okay, 139. Look how much I gave up by waiting that extra 2 minutes. This is pretty huge. Now, I've been entertaining going to the 3-minute because I know as a trader, you have to adapt to the changing market conditions. Like, for instance, my earning strategy that worked so good for the last 6 months is FUBAR now, because the market has changed. And I never really traded a lot when earnings are hot and popping, because what happens is you get people spread out over multiple stocks. When the pickings are slim and there's only a few reporting earnings, then you have more players focused on those few stocks, which really makes for a good trade opportunity. So right now, either I adapt my strategy, which I feel won't give me the edge that I have. And believe me, trading earnings after market, if you don't have a solid edge, you're gambling. And I don't like gambling like that. So if I can't, use my edge in the market, then I'm not trading it. So I've been kind of sitting on my hands a little bit, just kind of picking a little one here, a little one there, but I am not actively trading earnings yet until I see some change and the market starts to come back around. But on this opening range, when I started trading, I started on the 15-minute time chart. And over a period of time, as the market changed, I made it down to the 5-minute. And over the course of the last 2.5 years, the 5-minute has worked pretty good. But I'm seeing stocks like this where I am giving up way too much profit waiting for the 5-minute. So don't be surprised if in the near future you see me going to a 3-minute opening range breakdown and using the 5-minute on certain days. It's just going to be based on market conditions. Some days the 5-minute is the best option because of the market conditions. Some days the 3-minute I think is better because of market conditions. So I just wanted to put that out there because I don't want you to be shocked one day if I'm talking about a 3-minute opening range trade and you're like, hey, you don't do that. What's going on? That's what's going on. I'm going to adapt to the market. And that's what we have to do. We can keep our same strategies, but we have to adapt. But I'm going to tell you, you damn well better do your homework. You better get enough trades in so that you have a good data set to make an informed decision on. 3 or 4 trades or 5 trades is not enough to make an informed decision. It's going to take a period of time. So, that's why it might take a little bit longer. All right, guys. So that's going to do it for me today. I will see you guys first thing in the morning.